A statistic that many people I think don't realize, because sometimes family homelessness is almost invisible. If you're downtown by the Capitol in Madison, you usually see single men and single women, but not families with children. But the Madison School District last year, this most recent school year, identified 1,364 students as homeless. The Road Home provides opportunities for homeless children and their families, mostly to move from homelessness to housing, and then once in housing to be able to reach many goals in their life, whether it's educational goals, employment goals, health needs, whatever it is, those all get sort of addressed through our case managers that are working directly with families while they're both homeless and then in housing. A lot of faith-based buildings are sort of empty during the night, and then we know that we have homeless families who are in cars or on the street or whatever. And so we partner with 14 congregations that actually are able to open their doors. So 4 times a year, St. Luke's is gracious enough to open their doors, literally, for homeless families who need a safe place to be. If we didn't have congregations like St. Luke's doing that, we would not be able to operate our shelter. I mean, the whole model is based on using the faith community where there's a space and where it makes sense, instead of families having to be outside in their cars or in a bus shelter.
We try to treat them as members of the church. So just like we would treat any other member of the church, we prepare thinking of them as guests that, we're inviting for dinner, we're inviting to stay overnight.
What St. Luke's is providing is a warm place to be with their family, food to put onto the table, a place for children to do their homework and to play, and just provide that safe environment that they wouldn't otherwise have. Normally when families suffer homelessness, they have to split. The men go off to one shelter and the women and children to a different shelter. And in this program, families can actually stay together. That's huge. When you see families come in the door, they're profoundly grateful that someone is actually practicing hospitality.
I try to put myself in their shoes, which it's so hard to do. And the fact that they can put a smile on their face makes me think, boy, I can give 100 times more.
I always encourage people to jump in, especially if it's outside their comfort zone. It's a wonderful way to grow personally. You can meet people that you wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to meet. But more importantly, I think so many of us suffer from the perception that we're not good enough or we're not specially equipped to do something that we feel called to do. And we let those opportunities slide to letting somebody else do it. I've seen the weight come off of people's backs when they come in our doors. And some days that's a hard thing to see. When I go home then and I have so much to feel like I'm giving so little. But on the other hand, I've been at shelters too where people are stacked up in bunk beds and put into rooms that are cramped. And to see the difference between that sort of facility and this sort of facility is mind-boggling. And so I can appreciate from that perspective too, what people see when they walk in here isn't a classroom, it's a family room. And I can only imagine the relief they feel when there's heat and beds and a kitchen and room for their kids to run around. It's huge.